fans, this is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunch Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. Get this, Julio Cesar Chavez has been arrested. The U.S. immigration has made an arrest and is being processed for extradition and removal from the country, the Department of Homeland Security said in a statement Thursday. The DHS said Chavez, a Mexican citizen, had an active arrest warrant against him in Mexico for what is said was his involvement in an organized crime and trafficking firearm, ammunition, and explosives. Under President Trump, no one is above the law, including world-famous athletes. DHS Assistant Secretary Tricia McLaughlin said Chavez, who was still in the United States following his fight Saturday against American Jake Paul in Anaheim, California, was arrested by ICE in Studio City on Wednesday, according to DHS. 3 days into the start of official free agent. Okay. Let me counterpunch. You know, it's crazy that every time Julio fights, something weird happens, if you noticed. Remember when he fought Canelo and he had an issue with somebody stealing his money. Now he's getting deported. But, you know, him being a boxer, son of a legend, has nothing to do with his legal status. So it does deem to be true that nobody is above the law these days in the US of A, especially when it comes to organized crime, cartel, stuff like that. People, you're not safe. You know, you can't just swing through or swindle through the ropes, you know, around with the law. And it is surprising because I heard a lot of people on the live stream talking about, you know, cartel and crime and stuff like that, which I don't keep up with Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. like that. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, he hasn't done enough to really keep up with him, to be fair. But, you know, I heard a lot of lives and, you know, his involvement in organized crime. So if he's involved in organized crime, you know, just like Daniel Kinahan and others like that. Yeah, I mean, I don't even know if they still caught him, but, you know, you're sitting around, you're fighting on national television against Jake Paul, and then you have a warrant. You're just screaming to say, hey, come get me to where you see me at, because, you know, he's a celebrity and an athlete. So where would you think that they would come looking if they see you on TV? Where you last fought at? Anaheim, California. That's where. So it's a situation where it's mind-boggling because you know what I mean? It's like, hey, I know I've been involved in this type of stuff, firearms and organized crime and stuff like that. You know, that's crazy, you know, and he's being expedited back. I don't know how serious it is, but, you know, these things happen to people that think they're above the law, you know, and I know people have mixed issues about ICE. It could be a bit aggressive, to say the least, because I'm not really political. But, you know, in this case, you fought Jake Paul on national television. You know, you fought him, and it's knowledge that you did. The good thing is, at least you got paid. You could have been in a situation like right before you were going to fight. They snatched you because they were aware of where you were, because they know where you're going to be. You're going to be fighting Jake Paul. So to say the least, at least you got your check for $1.5 million or possibly 2.5 based on the sales of the pay-per-view. So it could have been worse. But you guys tell me what you think of Julio Cesar Chavez arrested in California to be expedited back to Mexico because of his involvement in organized crime with firearms involved. Of course, please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.